let's talk about another pitcher on this list. And I think that this is an interesting one as well. Again, I'm also quite surprised that he's still on the board compared to what we've seen a couple ones go away. Michael Wacha, right-handed pitcher here. He had a 3.3 WAR, 3.32 ERA. He was 11-2 last year in 2022 for the Boston Red Sox. I thought the Boston Red Sox would be willing to re-sign him. Looking at what they're doing, it looks like they're kind of going into a rebuild mode. Maybe they're going to try and get some of their young guys some looks and just wait until 2024. Not sure if they're punting. I'm not really sure what Boston's doing. I know I've said that before, but I really am not sure. But we saw a lot of great things from Michael Wacha in St. Louis. Obviously, then he went to the Mets, the Rays, and now the Red Sox. Seems like he's staying on the East Coast his last couple tours. Does he stay on the East Coast this time, or do you see him maybe going elsewhere?
It's tough to say, right? Because he's the guy who the baseball card numbers, the 11-2 record are kind of appealing. Even if you want to look at ERA, 3.32 ERA is, that's good. Right. So, but then the other metrics, things like his FIP, his fielding independent pitching, is much higher, which is more of an indicator of him, the batter or the pitcher himself, of what he's doing without defense. The home run to fly ball rate are still, not great. So while I guess the general numbers look good, I think maybe teams more and more are looking past those general numbers, right? And the projections aren't. I guess if he had a good season in 2022, it's not helping his 2023 projections because he's still up almost 4.5. Zips has him at almost 4.75 ERA. Low strikeouts. Like, this is not necessarily, this is why he's still available, right? Because those kind of like other numbers. But that being said, again, I'm going to go with, I look at which teams didn't have a whole lot of contributions from their starting rotation. And the one team that jumps out at me, because the bottom of the list is full of like the Rockies, Royals, Nationals, Athletics, you get it. But near the bottom-ish is, the Chicago Cubs. They fascinate me for a number of reasons, because they could, with a strong breeze, be pushed right up into contention. And you're going to need a guy like Wacha if it's going to get you there. Their starting rotation does have some question marks. So maybe this is a depth piece, fifth starter kind of thing. I could see him going to Chicago.
What do you think about the St. Louis Cardinals? What do you think about a possible reunion for Michael Wacha in St. Louis? We know there's a lot of question marks about that rotation. They obviously found a way to make it into the playoffs, winning the division last year, but that was because really, truly, Milwaukee just blew it towards the end. They found a way to get in, but it wasn't because of their pitching. Obviously, Adam Wainwright's getting older, but he seems to be getting better. That's like the only outlier in this situation. But there's a lot of questions about Jack Flaherty and company. And what do you think about possibly Wacha making a return back to the Busch Stadium?
I don't hate it. Like you're looking at, I'm just looking at the depth charts for the Cardinals right now, and Miles Mikolas is your number one starter at 21% of their starts, and that's and Steven Matz, Jack Flaherty, like it's an okay rotation. But again, like Wainwright can't keep doing this. He can't. It's physically impossible unless he sold his soul to some kind of deity. I just can't see this continuing, right? So maybe St. Louis could use that insurance starter.
It seems like we are predicting somehow, some way that he will find himself in the NL Central.